Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to be planting some more seeds in my seed starting trays. I started some the other week and I did a couple videos showing you the progression of those seeds if you want to take a look at my other videos on seed starting. This is a new hexagonal tray that I'm trying out this year. Still not sure I'm crazy about it. The seeds have done fine. The germination rates have been great, but the soil has been drying out a little bit in these trays, and I haven't had that problem before with other seed trays. And so in the past I've used Jiffy, and I believe actually these hexagonal trays are also made by Jiffy, but the trays I'm used to using are made by Jiffy, and I'll just show you. These are the hexagonal shaped ones. The ones I'm used to using are the square shaped ones. There's a little bit of condensation here, so you can't really see too well, but the square shaped ones don't seem to dry out as much as these hexagonal shaped ones. So, but anyway, it's what I have. It's what I bought this year. I had to buy some new trays. So I'm going to fill these trays with this Jiffy natural and organic seed starting mix. As I mentioned in my other videos, it's better to use seed starting mix or your own mix of perlite, vermiculite, and some peat moss and maybe a little bit of sand. You don't want to use soil or any soil that has like compost in it, because there can be some bacteria. And I've just found that I've had really good success using seed starting mix. And so far, from what I've planted about 10 days ago, I would say I have over a 95% germination rate using the method I have here, which is just these simple seed starting trays under some grow lights. So I'll just show you how I fill the trays and how I fill them with water and how I plant the seeds. So I'll pause the video now. So as you can see, I just filled all 72 cells of this seed starting tray with the seed starting mix, and I went all the way to the top, and I actually will take my finger and just kind of like press down and make sure that it's pretty filled. Sometimes it will have the illusion of looking full, and it's really just a lot of air in there. So I would just make sure that all the seed trays are filled all the way to the top, because we're going to be adding some water and the soil level will go down as we add the water. And the trick I have found for good germination rates is to add warm water to your seed starting trays. Some people will just spray, like plant the seeds and then water right afterwards, but I actually prefer to have all my soil moist first, plant the seeds, and then if I have to add additional soil or water afterwards, I will. But I'll show you what I do next. I wanted to point out that I use a Seedling Heat Mat occasionally if the temperatures are really low in the basement. Like right now, it's pretty cool outside. It's in the 30s and low 40s degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's early April. So what I do sometimes is for my seeds that need like 75 degrees to germinate, such as the Dusty Miller and the Bells of Ireland, I'll turn on the heat mat when I feel like the basement's too cool, and then I'll just unplug it when I feel like it's closer to 70 degrees down here. But the basement's pretty cool, and I have had a lot of success using the Seedling Heat Mat. Each mat will hold 2 of these trays. They'll fit exactly 2 of them if they're placed vertically. And these were a little bit pricey. I'm sure you can probably get them on Amazon for less than what I spent, or some garden center for less than what I spent. I spent $50 on these a few years ago, and I do use them all the time. So, I was using them all the time when I was starting seeds in prior years. So it does help warm up the temperature for certain seeds that need higher germination rates. So I filled all of the 72 cells with warm water using this little tiny watering can here. And I just made sure that everything was evenly moist and that the soil was evenly distributed and was all the way to the top. And I turned on the Seedling Heat Mat, and that will be just on just the cooler days. And this is the lights I have above here are set on a timer. I may change it to 13 hours. Right now it's at a 12-hour, every 12 hours it will turn on for 12 hours. A lot of people have their lights on for between 14 and 16 hours, and I have not found that to be necessary to go up to 16 hours. I have had them on 13 and 14 hours before, so I'll see, how they're doing. I may increase the light a little bit, but personally, I don't feel like I need to have more than 13 hours of light because I have these lights so low right now, close to the seedlings, and I gradually raise these light fixtures as the seedlings grow. Anyway, I'm going to pause the video now and I'll start planting some seeds. So for the Dusty Miller, these seeds were so small, they were pelleted, and they came in a little tiny capsule like this. And what I do for really tiny seeds and for pelleted seeds is I actually use just tongs. You could probably use tweezers or chopsticks or something small to help you get the seeds delicately onto the soil. Now for these particular seeds, they need light to germinate, so as per the instructions, you should not cover these seeds with soil. Many other seeds will need darkness to germinate, so you just have to read the instructions on your seed packet. So if it says don't cover, you don't need to sprinkle any soil or any seed starting mix on top of these. They'll just germinate the way they are with just the light on top of them, shining on top of them. So I filled up most of the seed tray with the Dusty Miller, and then I'm going to put some Bells of Ireland in the last two rows here. The Dusty Miller seeds were tiny little yellow seeds, as you can see here, and the Bells of Ireland seeds are a lot bigger. They're kind of a grayish brown color. So I put those into the seed trays on the last two rows, and the instructions were to barely cover, to press in and barely cover. So I'm going to just I press them into the soil or into the seed starting mix, and I'm going to sprinkle a tiny bit of seed starting mix on top of them and make sure they're all moist and make sure they're all pressed in. So I'll do that now. So I just put the cover on these and I labeled them with just some simple markers. You can use popsicle sticks or any kind of simple marker just to mark. I just marked the end point or the beginning point of my rows so I know what's what. And then typically I'll leave like the seed packets right in front of the trays too, just so I know what was planted there as well. But I will probably rotate this one to fit along with another tray in the next few days if I plant some more seeds down here. But right now I'm just going to lower the lights and hope that everything grows really well. Thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to subscribe.